All right, let's talk Miami Hurricanes football. Spring ball is in full display right now, and we get to see what these Hurricanes are going to start to look like, especially some of these new guys into the fold. And there's one in particular that's already off to a really strong start. Let's get into the report, then we'll talk about it more in detail on the other side. This is from SI.com. If media was allowed to record the wide receiver and defensive backs one-on-ones this morning, the internet might have exploded. The second day of viewing for Miami spring football practices showed a lot of everyone but the quarterbacks. While day one showed a lot of Cam Ward, today provided a glimpse at other positions such as cornerbacks, safeties, offensive linemen, and wide receivers. The wide receivers stole the show at the end of the viewing period today. Without the ability to film or photograph, you must take the word of those inside the building to tell you that the receivers impressed. Additionally, freshman Hojisha JoJo Trader impressed as well. I'm sure I butchered his first name. I apologize. Impressed. I'll just go by JoJo. That's what he likes to go by as well. Trader blew past his defender twice on the far sideline for a pair of touchdowns. Trader has been a popular buzz name since he arrived on campus, and his performance today definitely helps his chances of getting on the field. All right, so JoJo off to a really strong start. He obviously was a top flight recruit. Miles, I'm curious what your thoughts are on these moves by Trader, him already making a strong impression on this Miami Hurricane squad. But first, Miami fans, in the comment section below, what do you think will be the biggest name to emerge out of spring ball? And look, JoJo Trader could be one of those guys, right? He obviously is a top flight recruit, but there could be a lot of other guys potentially as well. Give us the guy you think will emerge out of spring ball and become a star for the Miami Hurricanes, and put him in the comment section below. But Myers, give me your thoughts on Trader and just everything going on at Miami Hurricane spring ball right now.
Yeah, Nick, I think Trader, to me, JoJo Trader is definitely the guy to watch out for. I think this is a sneaky guy come in, top flight recruit, like you said, but I think he could be the star of this Miami offense. Obviously, they've got a lot of talent in the receiver room, and I think bringing in a veteran quarterback to utilize that talent was very smart. But bringing in a young guy like JoJo Trader is going to do a lot of great things for him. When you see his scouting profile coming in, he was a guy, they called him a big play waiting to happen. He's one of the best that they've seen in a long time at tracking the football, made tons of acrobatic sideline grabs. And, you hear about that stuff in high school. You hear about that against, probably inferior opponents. And you wonder, is it going to translate? Well, what's the first point that we can see? Maybe it is going to translate. That's against other high level guys in spring practice. And what does JoJo Trader do? Have two absolutely phenomenal sideline grabs, burns it down, touchdowns on both of them. Really phenomenal stuff so far. I'm excited. Spring ball is off to a very early start, and JoJo Trader is really starting to separate himself, showing that he was worth every resource that Miami put into bringing him down here to Coral Gables. I think JoJo Trader is going to be a great player for the Hurricanes, and I think he's going to help boost this very new look offense for the Hurricanes with Cam Ward at the helm.
Yeah, I agree with everything you just said. And I think there's two other important facts to really dive into here. First of all, this is an early enrollee, right? This is a guy who showed up January, I believe, for this semester to be a college student. So early on, early impacts. The dude's still getting his bearings. We're talking about a kid here, guys. We're talking about, 17, 18-year-old kids here. First time away from home, potentially new area, certainly whole different vibe. Obviously, college versus high school, right? New teammates, tougher competition. You expect a lot of these guys just trying to be running around, just trying to get their bearings, figuring out where they need to line up, just learning, what Miami calls a go route versus what it was called in high school, right? Terminology. Heck, where to go to class, where the football facilities are, right? Things like that. You don't expect a guy to come in this early and make a strong impact. It's always a great sign, which leads me into my second fact. The reality is that's off to a really strong start and great for JoJo Trader. But if you're going to take that leap and be a contending program again, which obviously Miami is doing everything it can to go back to that status, you're going to need this, right? When you have a number, I think he's 70th ranked recruit nationally. When you get a guy like that to commit, he has to be a top flight player, right? You can't miss on prospects if you're Miami, right? Because Alabama can miss, Georgia can miss, right? Ohio State can miss because they're at the top of the food chain. They're going to get a million 5 stars. They miss a few guys. They'll be fine next recruiting cycle, right? Miami, if they really want to get momentum rolling here, they can't miss on too many people. Frankly, I would argue they can't miss on anybody. So the fact that JoJo Trader looks like he is not missing, he's off to a great start, is a really, really critical sign for Miami. Because if they get a lot of these young guys up and rolling early on, it'll start that feedback loop, right? Freshmen come in, do well. Miami wins a lot of football games. Other top flight recruits see that. They want to come to Coral Gables. Miami does better, wins more games. Other top flight recruits see that, want to come to Coral Gables. Again, it starts that feedback loop. But in order for that loop to actually get going, it has to start. And I think the fact that JoJo Trader is off to such a great start is a good sign that that momentum is building.
Yeah, and you see through the last few years, like Miami's been bringing in lots of talent. They've been focusing on their home state in the receiver position specifically. You look back 2023 class, they had Robbie Washington and Ray Joseph, both from Florida, the state of Florida, guys that they brought in who've done a really good job so far. This 2024 class, obviously JoJo Trader is a great one, as well as Carr. But then you look at the 2025 class, they already have another big time recruit at the receiver position, Waden Charles, a Palm Beach Central guy. He is a 4-star, much like Trader was. So I think having a guy like Trader hitting, being good, showing out in this offense is going to be paramount for recruiting and getting big time receiver commits going forward. Just showing like, hey, we're Miami. We like to highlight our young receivers. We like to get them in situations to become playmakers. You want to come here. It's like you said, you can't miss, because if you bring in a guy and they look like a dud, a receiver's going to be like, well, maybe that's not the offense for me. Maybe it's not going to work out. And as Miami, you're already battling to win the state of Florida. There's so many good teams in the state of Florida. It's paramount that you make every single guy that you come in look like a star. So JoJo Trader off to a good start. Highlight him as much as possible. And let's get some of these more young top flight receivers out of the state of Florida coming down to Coral Gables.